Okay, well, welcome everybody to this call. We've got Tere from the US. My name's Bill Meyers, my wife Robyn. This is probably the most exciting thing I've ever seen in my life. What's happening now is absolutely biggest belief, so to speak. Terry and I were just talking a second ago. For those that heard, we met around last January, and he said at that time, I think it was prophetic. He said we're going to do something amazing together, and I was stuck in hospital having major surgery, and as I came out, our existing business. The money dried up from it. It was a caravan hire business. We've been doing very well, and the government just said, well, there's an end to that. So I had over 10 caravans sitting there doing nothing, no income, huge hospital bills. And I saw a little text from Terry. And I said to Rob, hey, Terry's onto something here. He's talking about this new product, this tiny little thing here called Fix, and it looks incredible. Now, Rob's a naturopath, and she's been a naturopath for many years. And she said, Bill, that's made of hops. Hops don't do what you're saying it does. You don't lose weight taking hops. If
Exactly.
that was the case, we would have done it. Over to you, Rob.
Well, that's very true because I've been a naturopath for 38 years and running a diet clinic specifically for the last 15 years. And I had my own proprietary blend of drops made up, and very successful. But as my clients would come, I'd have to mentor them and give them a diet protocol, which ended up being a little bit restrictive. You did have to change your diet and cut down on certain food categories. You weren't allowed to have alcohol. So there was quite a regimen with it, and people lost weight, but obviously people couldn't perpetuate it. And just like any other diet that people would go on, people tend to put weight back on when they finish the actual program. And I had said to Terry when he came over, I said, look, you should look at putting my diet drops into this snap pack that you're talking about. And Terry went back to the States, and we actually did sort of go down that track. But then they found something that absolutely surpassed, no doubt about it. I initially was thinking, hey, why didn't they do my diet drops? I made the suggestion. And then when Bill said, oh, it's hops, I said, it can't be possible because hops are used as a nervine for relaxation. Hops is in beer, a very good product, but
Beer's a good product.
Great for sleeping, but that's a different extract of the hops. What we have is from the hops flower, matured hops extract. It's an isolate that has a fat loss effect. And when you've got fat loss, visceral fat loss targeted, it's a whole new ball game. There's nothing on the market. I've never advocated other products except for what I've made up in my own herbal medicine cabinet. And basically, this is a breakthrough in scientifically, and just it's unheard of. So we have something in our hands, and Terry's going to run through it with you, that is exceptional, groundbreaking, and they call it a category creator because there's no category that it fits into. So I'll hand over to Terry to tell us about this wonderful hops extract that we have.
Yeah, thanks, Terry.
Awesome. Thank you, guys. Appreciate that. Great to have everybody on this evening. I assume it's evening where you are, even though it's early morning for me. But really excited to share with you what it is we have. And I'm really talking to those of you who are on here for the first time. Maybe you were invited on here by a friend, and you're jumping on to just see what's going on. Maybe you've seen something, maybe you haven't yet. But I'm just going to take about 23 minutes or so and walk through what we have here, how that came about, and really where we're going. And when I first saw this, number one, this was about it was April 20th, however long ago that is now, coming up on 6 months. Holy cow. And what a 6 months it's been. Wow. April 20th, our founder got a phone call from another guy named Tere, who was a CEO of another pharmaceutical manufacturer. And that phone call literally changed the trajectory of our life. I am not overstating that in any way, shape, or form. Not even close to overstating. And if I had my preference, if I could do what I'm about to tell you, but I can't regulatorily, is that a word? I just made that up, I think. Regulatory.
It's close.
It's a good word. Go back to college, check it out. Anyway, so if I could, what I would prefer to do is just have a whole bunch of people on here. I'd let them share their screen and show you their back office, show you about the money that they have made in 3 months. That's what I would far prefer to do. The other thing I would far prefer to do is let a whole bunch of people for the next 30 minutes just tell you about what's happened to their health because of this. But I can't do that either. Daggum 3-letter agencies won't let us do that. So what I need to do, because you paid so much money to get into this Zoom, is to entertain you with a story and tell you what it is we have. And at the end of this, you're going to say yes or no. That's how it's going to go. And so I will try to give you as much information as I can, as quickly as I can, in a way that you can understand it to see the big picture of what's happening here. So like I said, April 20th, our founder, Randy Tyner, got a phone call. Now, Randy's been doing contract packaging and manufacturing for 22 years up in Maple Grove, Minnesota, here in the US. And he does a lot of different packages for a lot of different companies. And so this one company that he was doing some work for, well, pre-COVID, the CEO called him and they were having this conversation about business they had pre-COVID. But in this conversation, Trey said to him, look, we have this product. We've come across
Okay,
this.
I think you're going to have to call them.
And in this extract, it comes out of the matured hop plant. The matured hop extract is exactly what it is. To Robyn's point, it comes out of the flower. Well, this had been extracted the first time back in 1953, believe it or not. The problem was the processing cost was way too high to bring it to the market. $1 million for 1 gallon. And so there was no way anybody was going to buy that, obviously. And but they had this gallon of extract and they started to, let humans try it. And they started to see a potential for fat loss, not just any fat loss, but visceral fat loss. Now, if you guys don't know what visceral fat loss is, it's all the stuff that hangs around our organs and our torso, kind of right in this general area over here. And it's what kills people. You might have heard of a fatty liver. Well, that's what's going on. You got too much fat built up. We'll talk about that for a second. So it showed a propensity for fat loss. So, but they just kind of put it on the shelf because it was way too expensive. Well, over the next 6 decades, a handful of other companies took up that same research because they saw that it had a potential for this. And they all met with the same issue. None of them could do it for less than $500,000 in processing costs per gallon. So the thing was, they had additional gallons and material, so they were still doing different research. And the research showed some amazing things. And again, I would love to tell you all that's happened in people's lives. I'd love to get on my phone and read a bunch of texts to you. Dadgum. Government says I can't do that stuff. So here's what I can tell you. Every Sunday night, we do what's called the Winner's Circle Zoom. We did it, whatever that is, 8 hours ago. And we did that. And in that, this is where we are able to share a lot of these things with a whole lot of disclaimers and everything. But here's what we learned and why we were so stunned when we rolled this out to the world 4 months ago. Visceral fat leads to things. There are symptoms that come from having too much visceral fat that I didn't know. And you can go Google this, check it out, talk to your best friend. They'll know for sure. But it leads to things like high blood pressure, high blood sugar, cognitive issues, autoimmune issues, inflammation, digestive issues, heart disease, cholesterol, and you can keep going down the list. There are a lot of issues in the human body that are symptoms of this one issue, too much visceral fat. So we began to think, man, first, all we knew was, wait a minute. And just so you guys know, it works in alcohol, and the studies showed that they were all excited because it worked better in alcohol. So when we launched this, I'm not making this up, 4 months ago, it was, you could drink alcohol and lose weight. That was our big message, and we thought people all over the world would like it. And as it turns out, a lot of people did like that. But we began to learn over the first month or so more of what we had our hands on, because this is not just about fat loss. This little guy right here, what we call Fix, this thing can change the world. And I am not overstating that either. If you've never heard of this, you don't understand what this is, I'm about to show you. And we believe we have something that has never existed before, because no company's ever been able to extract this particular isolate out of the hop flour. And we've inherited the whole thing. It is ours. We own it. And we are the company that got to bring it to the market because of that April 20th phone call. So here is, I'm just going to kind of walk through what it is we do here. As I mentioned, we call it Fix, and we like to refer to it as Fix Your Drink, because there's 1.2 milliliters of liquid in there, this matured hop extract, and you squirt it into any beverage. Fix your drink. And what we're talking about is burning fat smarter, not harder. Now, I got a lot of friends who, you guys probably see them on social media as well. They do 75 hard, and it's like this big exercise thing. I'm going to get in shape, so I'm going to do 75 hard. And here's what it looks like to me. Look at me. Click, I'm walking. Look at me, I'm walking. Look at me every day. Look at me, I'm working. I'm 75 hard. Every 75 days, we get a selfie for 75 days. This is 75 easy, okay? That's the way I refer to this, because you should exercise. It's really good. You get one body. We should take care of our body. You should eat well. Everybody should do that. But you know what? Not everybody does. The trials on this show that whether you exercise and eat well or not, people still burned fat. That was the amazing part of this. So this is a whole paradigm shift, all right? Because when people want to go lose weight, you've probably wanted to lose weight in your lifetime, but the reality was you didn't want to lose weight. You wanted to lose fat, just like every other person on the planet. We want to keep our lean body mass, the good looking stuff, and get rid of the fat. That's what we want to do. And that's exactly what this does. The difference is how this works is completely different than anything else in the world. That's why it's a paradigm shift. Again, this has never existed before, ever. So if you're sitting there trying to think, what does this fit into? Maybe is it like this? I wonder if it causes heart palpitations. Oh my gosh, do you get the jitters and things? No, because it's not like anything that anybody's ever used that does those things. This is 100% natural. As a matter of fact, oh gosh, I'll just say I really wanted to tell you what's happened, but I can't do that. We have a 2-year-old that's a 2-year-old taking this, and the results have been phenomenal for what that kid has. Just phenomenal. Can't wait to tell that story. But it's safe even for 2-year-olds. It's, again, plant-based, all natural, odorless, tasteless, colorless, and there's no side effects to this. 0 side effects. It's just a flower is all it is. And so it's like water. When you take this and squirt it into a beverage, it looks like water. It tastes like there's just no taste to it at all. So this is the cool thing. You can put it in any beverage whatsoever. It even works, like I said, with adult beverages. Now, here's what's going on in the human body, you guys. When we take in food, it's because our body needs energy, okay? That's what we call food. There are 4 types of energy or substrates that actually go in and the body needs: fat, carbohydrate, protein, and minerals. Those 4 things the body must have to operate the right way. Now, most of us don't get enough mineral in our diet. You'll need to go talk to your mom about eating more of your broccoli. So anyway, you need more mineral, whatever. That's another conversation for another day. What we tend to get too much of is fat and carbohydrate. Why? Because it tastes really good. That's the reality. Fat tastes good, and so we tend to like it. There's a lot of carbohydrate, and you got 2 types of carbohydrate: simple and complex carbohydrate. Complex carbohydrate, good. Simple carbohydrate, bad. You don't like it, but here's what happens. It's all energy. and your body wants to use the energy when it comes in. So I need some energy for my body. I take in X amount of energy. Body uses some, excretes the other. The extra that we don't burn up, your body's going, what do I do with this? Okay, let's leave it, let's save it for later use. And it packs it away as white adipose tissue, visceral fat. Bad fat, belly fat. That's what we're talking about right there. And people over time start to look more like this silhouette than our 20-year-old silhouette. You know what I'm saying? And so this is what's going on. Now, fix, when it goes in, it activates the good fat, the BAT, brown adipose tissue. And if you didn't know, you do have good fat. We need fat. We're a very fatty body, just so you know. Our brain, 60% fat. Our nervous system, 83% fat. So you must have it in your body. Problem is, when we get too much of it, it starts to gunk up. That's the medical term I learned in college, gunk. It gunks up the operating system that we have. And things don't operate the right way. This is what's causing all of we have overweight in our society, but under healthy people. That's what's happening. And so the BAT, it'll go in and it will start to activate, or the fix will go in and activate the BAT, which sends a signal to the brain through the vagal nerve back down to the body, which says, hey, start to burn up white adipose tissue. Now, there's another process in the body, another thing that happens in the body that does this very thing. It's called shivering. When your body temperature plummets, your body begins to involuntarily shiver because it's trying to warm the body back up. It's self-preservation. It's like, whoa, hey, warning, warning, start to shiver. How does it do that? Yeah, it activates the brown adipose tissue, which sends a signal to the brain through the vagal nerve back down to the body. And all of a sudden, it creates a thermogenic response. It's trying to heat the body up in that case to bring the temperature back up. Here's the unique part of shivering. Number one, you burn 400 calories per hour. That's a lot. And it burns all from visceral fat. So it's taken the visceral fat, the bad stuff that's hanging out in here. It's using that for the energy. Now, if you could shiver for 12 hours a day, you'd be burning 2 pounds of visceral fat, bad fat, every day. You'd be looking hot. You'd be going, look at me, everybody. Look at me. Check me out. Because 2 weeks ago, I was 24 pounds heavier, but you'd be looking good is what you'd be looking. Now, you can't do that because, of course, you can't shiver that long. You know that. But if you could, it would be great. The cool thing is when you take just one fix, it will last up to 9 hours, creating that same thermogenic response. No shivering involved. Remember, the shivering is an involuntary thing. This is just burning up the white adipose tissue while you live your life. Whether you're at work, at play, doing nothing, whatever it is, your body becomes this thermogenic furnace burning up white adipose tissue. And we can validate this literally. Don't take my word for it. Get some of this stuff, and before you do, download the Me360 app. It is not ours. We did not come up with this. It was just an app somebody knew of, thankfully. And if you go do the body scans, you'll begin to see the changes that are going on. You'll see your body percent fat reducing. You'll see your lean body mass going up. You'll see the inches of your body shrinking. You'll see all of that stuff. And this app right here will validate exactly what we're saying. So we can prove it because this thing exists. It's awesome. And you can put this in coffee, orange juice in the morning, iced tea, soda in the afternoon, water, or whenever. Yes, a lot of times I'll just pop it in this. Oh, yeah. And you can also put it in whiskey, shots, mojitos, white wine, red wine, beer. It doesn't matter what you put it in, just like that. And that's all we do right there. And we have social media influencers that do this kind of thing right here. They do all kinds of things, but the people start coming in by the hundreds. Why? Because this is a lot of fun. People look at that and they go, wow, that's very interesting. I've never seen that before. And I'm not saying the glass shrinks. Okay. I'm not saying transformation, body transformation in a snap. And because people see it, they're very curious about it. Because they're curious, when they ask, they really like the answer. Fat loss, all natural, no side effects. Those three things right there, a lot of people in the world are like, I would like to try this. And that's exactly what's happening. The response has been ridiculous, really ridiculous. But look, guys, we have been building a marketplace of products for almost 2.5 years now. All right. We started with the idea of building a marketplace, all kinds of products we need to add, and it wouldn't matter what it was. Sorry, let me, okay, we're good. All right, so we have a global footprint as well. We got warehousing and logistics already in Asia, Australia, Africa, Europe, and the US. And now what we're doing is we're getting Fix licensed in all the different markets that we're in all over the globe. And we're doing this as fast as humanly possible because we have people in countries all over the planet that are begging for us to open because they understand what this is. One of the most amazing things to me, maybe not amazing, but it was validating. So when I first saw this, and the first thing I thought about was the conversation that Mary, my wife, and I had with Bill and Robyn on their boat that day in January. And I knew that Robyn was a naturopath, and she had a lot of different recipes for a lot of different things. And we had a conversation about a specific product that she had. When I saw this, she was the first person I thought about. I thought, my gosh, Robyn needs to see this. Now, Bill was in the hospital at that point, so I wasn't reaching out to them at that point, but it was very soon after this. Now, here's the crazy cool part. Since then, we have some almost 200 naturopaths across the globe, naturopath, nutritionalists, herbalists that are in with us. We have roughly 50 functional medical doctors, chiropractors, osteopaths. This is what I know of. There could be a whole lot more. The reason I'm telling you this is because they all got in after doing their research. After, not before. Because when they went and looked at this particular extract, they all validated what the trial showed. This is something completely new. So we now need to go license this all over the world, even though it's one ingredient, for crying out loud. We still got to go through all the work of the licensing, that is. So we're doing that as fast as we possibly can. And oh my gosh, response has been awesome. So that's the health piece of this. If you like what you're seeing there, get back with your friend, let them know, hey, I'd like to try it out. Now, understand this. You can monetize this. You can create an income with this if you like to. It's simply sharing it with people, kind of like we're doing right now. But we have all kinds of tools to use to be able to share this with people, and we can grow really, really, really fast in this. And so we have two teams, just so you know. This will be really quick. A right team and a left team. It's all we got, a right and a left. And everybody, whoever comes in after you on that team, has to go on your right or on your left. They just have to go on one side or the other. And the more people that come in after you, not that you put in, just that show up, the more people come in, the more money you make. And this can scale into the millions of people. And I fully believe 4 months ago, when we launched this, I was saying on every Zoom that we did, and we would do Zooms daily. We still do, candidly. And I would say this, that there will come a time, we'll have tens of thousands of people join this year. That has already happened, guys. We've already started that. We're well down the road on that. Next year, it will be hundreds of thousands. The year after that, it will be millions. And the reason is because of what this guy does in the human body and the stories that are coming out, the shares, the testimonials that people share. It's overwhelming people. The evidence is overwhelming, and people are liking it, and they want to try it, and then they get results. And so all of a sudden, guys, we've got this whole, what we call the Fix movement, literally already started. So as people join from all over, there's volume. Whenever they join, they have an enrollment kit, and you get volume on that. Monthly auto ships, there's things people are buying. In this case, we're talking about Fix. Miscellaneous orders. So we have other products that people buy on a regular basis. Customers, retail sales, international sales. You can have business in every time zone around the globe. You can have that. People coming in all over the place. And could you imagine, I mean, literally going to bed tonight, whenever you go to bed in about 4 hours or so, and waking up the next morning because you have a bunch of business in whatever, in the US or Africa or wherever it goes to, and people are joining, and you wake up and there's another $1,000 in your back office while you slept, or 2,000 every night. Could you imagine? That's what we're talking about here. You want to talk about residual income? That's what this is. So the more people who join your team, the more income you make. And with about 50 people on each team that are simply just getting their fix every month, with about 50 people on each team, you'd be looking at about $700 a month, US, on the low end. Then that continues to go up, and you can make $100,000 a week. If you're the person on here and that's the kind of income that fires you up, you can do that here. And I can tell you that there is that kind of money available in our comp plan. And as more people come in, more income comes out. It's very simple. I personally believe, I've been around this industry for 53 years. This is my own personal belief, but we are watching it happen pretty quickly, that there will be an extraordinarily high percentage of people, reps, connectors that are making $5,000 US a month and more. Because 300 people on a team is nothing. With this product right here, it's nothing. It's sexy, it's simple, it's fun, it's viral, it works. Social media loves this. Social media influencers are making bank on this. And it might be one of the greatest health breakthroughs to ever exist. And I am not overstating that. When you start to, if you could sit in my seat for a day and hear the testimonies, hear what I get to hear, read the text that I get to read, because we have thousands and thousands of people on my team, and just that alone, my belief in this is so incredibly high, because I have literally watched hundreds to thousands already that have had a complete transformation in their life. And so this is why I know, guys, we are at the beginning of an amazing, amazing run. Amazing movement is what it is. We have all the systems and tools. We got the training, we have the marketing, we have all of that on lock. You don't have to create one thing here if you don't want to. It's all already done for you. To join, if you know people here in the US, it's $30, $29.95. $29.95, and for $200, you get 72 snaps. And so you're in for about $240 total here in the United States. The 72 snaps, you use 1 a day, 2 a day, totally up to you and your goals and your body and all the stuff. It's up to you. So whether it's 2 months or 1 month worth, that's up to you. You might want to share it with a partner. I don't know. But it's $200 to get the 72 snaps. In the UK, it's the same, $29.95 for the business. They get 30 snaps for $169, and that has to do with the laws in the UK. I'm sorry, it's just what it is. So, but it's still the same $30 for the business. Now, for you Aussies, well, it's $10 to be in on the business, not 30, but you still have the 72 snap kit that you have available. And I think it's somewhere upwards of $300 Aussie, and you're in as a rep with that. If you know people in New Zealand or Africa or the Philippines, they get these options. $10 for the business. They have a $100 snap kit option and a $200 kit option. And so you get the option on those 3 countries. Sorry for all the different changes, but it's just what we've done in different countries. And some of that has to do with the legality. Some of it has to do with the economy. But that gives you a flavor for what we're talking about. $100 to $200 and US, and you have the snaps and either $30 or $10, and you're in as a rep. Pretty simple. And the $10 and the $30 is annual. Okay, that's not monthly. Just so you know. So things are, it's very simple to get into. A lot of people like it. To me, I just say this: all you have to lose is fat. Literally, that's all you have to lose. And so if that feels like a good idea to you, you should take action. Get back with your friend, get your spot locked in. Things are growing ridiculously fast, specifically in Australia and New Zealand. And now the UK is now beginning to take off, because we just launched last month. South Africa is starting to roll as well. The US has already been rolling. And like I said, tens of thousands will be in before the end of the year. My guess, We're probably clicking now around, and we'll probably have about 30 to 40,000 before the end of the year. And we just launched this 3 months ago. So, meaning the first people received it 3 months ago. So we are on to something really big. If by chance some of you guys here, you're in the US and you're like, oh my gosh, gotta go back. If you're here, or if you guys have the ability to get to our event in Minneapolis, starts this Friday. This is going to be the sounding gun, in my opinion. We've been building a foundation for about 18 months. The foundation was being built with all these other products. Fix showed up. We had no idea on earth that we would have this product. No idea. And my gosh, it's changed our life. And here's what I'm going to tell you. In March, this is now just over 6 months ago, we had gotten back from this trip to Australia and New Zealand. I'd done a bunch of work last year. Doesn't matter what it was, but I was expecting it to pay somewhere between $100,000 and $180,000 of commissions this year. And then the government shut this whole thing down. Our government shut this whole thing down. And all the work I had done last year to create income for this year was now gone. And it went from whatever, upwards of $100,000 to zero. And we got that news after we had booked our cruise, and we got back from our cruise. And on the cruise, Mary and I mean, literally, we're having this conversation. I'm like, man, well, I got to do something to create income, because I was already in Marketplace Global. I've been in two, but before the company started, we had good products. They were good. They're good products. But still, it wasn't like I wasn't making any kind of full-time income in any way, shape, or form. We get back from this cruise, and in late February, we realized that we get scammed out of the last of our money. And in early March, my wife takes a job for the first time in 17 years because we needed to just get through the next month to be able to pay bills. That was 6 months ago, you guys. So when I talk about transforming our lives, I really mean transforming. And here's why. That job she took pays a decent US salary. I made that last week. 1 week is an annual salary today. In 6 months, change, because this product came along and changed our freaking life, and it can change a lot of people's lives. There are a bunch of people on here whose lives have already gotten different. I mean, I'm talking crazy different, because people like this. This is a product whose time has come, and our life has been transformed. Bill and Robyn's has. I see Tracy Marley on here. I see Scott Griffiths. There's a laundry list of people who have come in short time, making anywhere from, because you saw the numbers in there on the scale, and I'm just going to say anywhere from 7,000 to 8,000 a month up to 40,000 a month in 3 months. And that's not stopping, because we have a business that's working really freaking well. And if you guys have ever wanted to be in the right place at the right time, you have found it. Not to mention all the testimonies and the health of people that's changing rapidly and radically. We have this situation, and you found yourself there. For those of you who are already part of our world, understand what you've got your hands on. This will never come again. This opportunity never going to come. How many times in your lifetime has something ever come along that's natural? You squirt it in a drink, and winery owners and bar owners want it on their countertop, and so do gym owners and spa owners. What product does that? Next to none, because nothing transcends the industry like this particular product. It's not only a fun product to use on the weekends, it's also a great health product. Who knew? That's what we're talking about, you guys. So if you like what you're hearing here, if this is feeling like, man, I don't want to miss this, you should say yes to your friend. And I'll end with this. If you've ever bought a house before, you can stand on the sidewalk and look at the outside of the house. And hey, nice house. Okay, it might need a new roof, might not, whatever, it doesn't matter. You look at the outside. You don't know what you're buying until you get on the inside of that house. You start looking around. Let's look at the plumbing, the electrical, the walls. Is there mold? Hey, how about them termites? All the different things that people need to see on the inside of the house. And this is the same thing. You can look from the outside and get some information. You get on the inside of this and start to hear the testimonies, start to get on our different pages and stuff where people are sharing their stories. You'll see this completely differently. I'm telling you, it's going to change the rest of your life. So that's what we have to offer you guys. And we're just excited to be able to do that. Bill, Robyn, I think